Hello, I'm Catherine Alexander, and this is about linear economies and circular economies. So each of those is a way of thinking about stuff and describing the journey that different materials and things take from where they start to where they go and where they end up. That's all that means. So stuff can be objects like a car or a plate, or it can be the materials that those things are made out of, like metals or plastics or clay. And then, of course, plastics and many other man-made things are in turn made from oil, and arguably that in turn comes from solar energy. Now, I'm going to use two examples to explain circular and linear economies in a minute. My jumper there and my smartphone there. But first I'll explain what a linear economy is. So this is the model that's based on a line, just like from there to there. So it starts with where we get materials from, which is basically our planet. So wool from sheep for my jumper, or oil and metal from drilling and mining that went into making my smartphone. And then it goes along the line and follows them, those materials, through manufacture or production into things like my jumper and my phone. And then to distribution, as those things get shipped around the world, and think at this point about things like fuel costs. And then it looks at how those things are bought and used or consumed, and it ends with things being thrown away and disposed of or destroyed. So the problem with that, the linear economy, is that at this end, we're taking more from the planet than it can bear. Wool isn't so bad because sheep can just grow it again, but mining, excavating, cutting down ancient forests, all those things damage the world. They destroy ecosystems and produce, very often, pollution. And then at the other end, there are roughly three ways of getting rid of waste: burning, which is incineration, burying, landfill, or rotting. And that's breaking down organic matter like food waste, for example, garden waste, so it becomes sometimes fertilizer. And again, these can be polluting, especially when there isn't very strict regulation in place. So a linear economy from there to there doesn't just cost money at each of those stages, it actually hurts our world, which is costing a lot more than just money. So a circular economy tries to be less greedy at that end and less wasteful at the other. And in a perfect world, this is how it would happen. The start and the end of the line link up into a circle like that, instead of just being at either end. So those wastes become the raw materials that go into making something else. So we don't need to keep digging the earth up to get raw materials out. And on top of that, we try and extend the lives of things as long as possible, which again means fewer things need to be bought, fewer things need to be chucked away. So take my jumper. Originally, it came from Norway. There's a little Norwegian flag on it, that's how I know. But I bought it secondhand, quite cheaply, in Durham market. So already, that's an action that saved it from being destroyed, because presumably somebody got rid of it at some point. Now, last winter, a moth made a little hole in the back. But instead of throwing it away and getting a new one, I decided to darn it. And you might like to think of other things that we can do to simply avoid getting rid of stuff and buying so much new stuff. Different ways of reusing, repairing, repurposing, giving away, exchanging. There's all kinds of different things we can do. But when my much more complicated smartphone packs up, I'm going to have to get a new one because I just don't know how to repair it. So if we're really going to think hard about how to stop or really cut back on pulling things out of the earth that can't be renewed, I mean, they're finite, and we're going to stop at the other end, just chucking things away, we really need to focus on, I think, producers people who make things like that, they were making things with what we call inbuilt obsolescence. And that means, as I said, we can't repair them. It's very hard to extend their lives. And very often they are simply designed to have a short life and make us buy more and more. So we need to think as hard as we can of different ways of avoiding or stopping that.